This is the Free Zone. And now, please welcome your host, Freeman.
Hello all, and welcome to the Free Zone. Another Saturday night here on Oracle Broadcasting, and it's a good day to be alive. Today I have the wonderful experience of talking with Ben Stewart, who is a host of Talismanic Idols and also a filmmaker of the excellent film Kymatica. Now, I'll tell you what, Ben, I received so many emails asking me, have you seen Kymatica? Have you seen Kymatica? It was to me bigger than the zeitgeist revolution. I don't know if you want to, hey, we'll get to that, but your film is amazing. It's a great way to open the minds of people to, you know, the evolution of self and of consciousness.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, I want to welcome you to the show. Thanks for coming on.
No problem at all. I'm really glad to have been on this show. I've been listening for quite a few years now, so I mean, it's absolutely great to be a part of this. I'm glad to be on.
Well, you know, a friend of mine dropped me Esoteric Adventures or Agenda, and didn't mention I was in it. And so I'm sitting there with my friend and watching the film, and all of a sudden there's my face, and I'm like, oh my God, that's me. That was a great moment for me. I just thought I'd share that with you. So let's jump right into it. Let's get to the heart of the matter, because really there's so much anger and aggression going on planet Earth right now. There's so many people trying to point their finger at the demon and say, this is what's wrong, and these are the people doing it. I wanted to just ask you straight out. Do you feel that humanity is a virus on planet Earth?
Well, I mean, I guess the only way I can really answer that, in my honest opinion, is no. I don't believe that we are in any way, shape, or form something unnatural or disastrous or diseasing to the Earth. I don't believe that what is happening now is really unnatural in a sense, because really, I can't claim to know what is natural, what nature really is, or at least I'm not able to verbalize it. I can feel it. But I hear a lot of talk about what nature is and what if we are actually a true part of nature, if we're still a part of the animal kingdom, or what it is about humanity. But when I ask them, or if I ask someone to define what nature truly is, they typically mention, you know, the trees, the rocks, the animal kingdom, and the oceans, and pretty much everything that you would imagine to be in a film that has to do with nature. But, you know, that's physical. But I have a feeling that nature is something more than that. The physical things are a symptom of nature. So I can't really claim to know what nature truly is. But in a feeling sense, I absolutely believe that we belong here. And I do not believe that we are a cancer or anything negative to the Earth.
Well, they're trying to get us to believe that at that point. You know, I just saw The Watchmen, and they show us how dastardly humans are, and that, we should wipe everyone out. And then the last statement that you see on the film is, because you know in your heart it's the right thing to do. Yeah. And so now we see that we've got these masters, and they are programming into us the concept that we are this horrible atrocity on planet Earth, that we are evil. And it really, I mean, how do we determine what's evil? Yeah.
Right, exactly. I mean, evil, good, love, hatred, things along those lines. It's more or less, it's something that's more conceptualized. It's something that you have a concept of what you believe evil to be. And not to say whether it is or it isn't, but it's definitely something that's more opinionated. And in a lot of ways, the way that I look at what's going on, especially in the past few decades, as things have been escalating, wars, bigotry, racism, things that you would imagine we would have moved past. You look at these things and you wonder whether is it evil in the sense that where we think that evil is something that someone would either bestow upon somebody else or enforce upon somebody else out of sheer destructive behavior, or is evil really naivety in a way? Because is it an unconscious behavior of how we are reacting to things? Is evil more or less how should I say it? Is it really our unconscious behavior towards others because of our projection of our own inner hatred? So, I mean, these are things that I try not to even come to a conclusion on. I like to pose the question, though, and I like to at least allow people to ponder what these things are, because, again, what I get into a lot in my film and pretty much a lot of my work in general is self-discovery. And I think the staple, the cornerstone of this work is the fact that I cannot bestow truth. I cannot really even claim to know what truth is for others. It's a part of self-discovery, and truth really isn't something intellectually anyway, so I wouldn't be able to intellectualize it or verbalize it. So it has to be discovered from within, and that's really, in a lot of ways, the only, if anything were to be evil in a sense, the only thing would be is unconscious behavior and activity, and the neglect of really looking within and looking at our own like self-responsibility and self-authority and giving it all away and allowing things just to happen to us. So that's really kind of like the staple of where, you know, what I try to get into in the film at least, and a lot of the work, and what I'm getting into in my future projects as well.
Well, we give up all our power to Big Brother. We give it up to our leaders, our rulers. We say that we need to be ruled. What do you think is the path that would leave us out of this victim mentality and maybe break the habit?
Well, really, I mean, it has to do more with non-compliance. I've been pondering this whole idea of non-compliance a lot more recently because, I mean, obviously, what it is, what you would consider Big Brother to be, or the elite, or the New World Order, or any type of overwhelming authority figure above us in any way, it really is through compliance. It's through complicity that we feed that machine. We give them, like you just said, we give them the power to do, you know, what they wish. And really what it comes down to is the fact that we're complying with it. You know, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, but really the responsibility lies within us. So really to break this chain and to, I would say, unfetter our hands and really break the chains of slavery is to understand what true slavery really is. And I think that's another big problem that we're facing is nobody really defines their terms anymore in the sense of what is freedom? What is slavery? A lot of people mistake freedom for comfort. They'll look at, say, like they'll think of comfort in a sense, and they'll be like, well, comfort is having the insurance company there. You know, comfort is having the police officer there to catch the bad guy. It's having the government and the military there to protect us against foreign invaders. It's pretty much just having something else there. It's having the TV there to alleviate our boredom. It's having the significant other there to alleviate our loneliness. And in a sense, that's what people entrain their bodies and they entrain their minds to believe that we are free because we are comfortable. And I take a dissenting approach on that because, I mean, in my personal view, I think that freedom, it takes a period of great unrest and at least a great period of stress to kind of realize what our true freedom is, because as of right now, we are comfortable in our slavery. And I get into this a lot in my work about the fact that Arnold Gruen, a psychoanalyst, made a statement that, see if I can get it right, if we base our identity on identifying with authority, then freedom causes anxiety. And in the way that I look at our society today, it's nothing but identifying with authority. Everybody seems to base their identity on, from day one, you know, the day that we're born, we are looking up to our parents for food, for shelter, for everything we need, all the way up until the point of 16, 18, whenever we choose to leave the house, you know, and then we think we're free. Okay, we got rid of our parents. I'm completely free now. But what happens? That same person goes and replaces those authority figures with government, with police, with bosses at their job, with money, pretty much anything that can be a vice of some sort that gives that person the feeling of the identity that they've always had. Because if they've never truly identified with being self-regulating, self-governing, self-responsible, then their entire identity, everything that they have ever built their life around, is all in accordance with having somebody above them in that pyramid structure, somebody above them that they have to kind of watch out for if they do anything wrong, but then they could also run to them if they need protection of some sort. So in a sense, that's why I use that quote a lot. If we base our identity on identifying with authority, then freedom causes anxiety. And if you look at the world today, I mean, obviously what we see today is people say they want freedom, but it's doublespeak because their actions don't meet with their words because they haven't defined what freedom truly is. They think freedom is comfort, but they're only comfort with authority above them. So it really is a form of really